One of my great heroes as a young theological student was John Wesley. I don't know how many of you have read John Wesley's life. He was not a gigantic personality. He's fully stretched. He was 5'4". So not exactly a towering presence to walk up in front of an audience. Wesley traveled 250,000 miles by horseback preaching. He preached 40,000 sermons in his life. Compute that. When the famous Oswald J. Smith in Canada was celebrating his 80th year, Billy Graham came to Toronto to preach and talked about the fact that O.J. Smith had preached 12,000 sermons in his life. That's 12,000 in the day of television and radio. John Wesley, 40,000 in the day of horseback, the original version of the Sermon on the Mount. Mount his horse, go and speak. Mount his horse, go and speak. 40,000 sermons, 250,000 miles, worked with 15 different languages, wrote 600 pieces of literature, some of them massive journals. At the age of 83, he was angry with his doctor because his doctor didn't let him preach more than 14 times a week. At the age of 86, in his journal, he writes, laziness is slowly creeping in. There's an increasing tendency to stay in bed after 5:30 in the morning. Now, I've consoled myself by saying he probably went to sleep at 4 in the afternoon. I don't know what time he went to bed. He was one of 19 children raised by Susanna Wesley. Susanna herself was one of 29. I don't know. I wouldn't want that. I wouldn't want to buy their shoes. 19, 29. One day, Susanna looked at John and said this to him. And he said, Mother, how do you define sin? She said, Son, whatever weakens your reasoning, impairs the tenderness of your conscience, obscures your sense of God, or takes away your relish for spiritual things. In short, if anything increases the authority and the power of the flesh over the spirit, that to you, John Wesley, becomes sin, however good it is in itself. So he covers the two great continents, brings in this great evangelical awakening. You go to his home in London. There's a monument at the back there, a tribute to him. And these words, Reader, if you feel constrained to praise the instrument, stop and give God the glory.